to make these episodes a little bit more algorithmically friendly, what I've done here is splice these 2 episodes, or at least this one continuing stream, and we've turned this into 2 episodes. So without further ado, we'll pick back up with the live narration here in this wild and crazy looter battle exhibition. Alright, we get a little caffeine here, and welcome back again, friends, to another episode of Tactical Enlightenment. Our YouTube channel is dedicated to Bannerlord, and you are getting tossed right into a battle. I will probably label these Part 1 and Part 2, but the sweet spot, according to the algorithm, and the algorithm knows, is you guys like 20-minute episodes, so we're going to break these series of battles here in our Bandit / whatever you want to call this, fun, chaotic looter series into pieces. This is going to be Part 2. We're joining a Southern Empire force here. We're going to take the flank and just bore in and try to obliterate thousands of forest bandits. It's a very similar army. They're in a very different location, and the likelihood of looters joining this battle is very high. They're close, and I actually really want the reinforcement system to kick in. If you don't know what's going on here, again, we're using mods to have a little bit of fun here. Now, our ally is taking the worst possible. That is the worst possible tactic. Finally, their cavalry is charging, but they literally sat at the top of the ridge holding their shields up while they got obliterated for a good solid 20 seconds. You could hear every forest bandit shooting, and the screen was just lighting up with red. It's still lighting up with red. And if we don't get in here with our troops soon, our allies are going to get obliterated because they don't know how to, the AI just does not know how to approach a situation like this. In some ways, you can't blame you can't blame the AI here, right? The AI is not designed to handle 900 archers. That's not a thing, right? There's no scenario where that ever happens in the game. There's no infantry. It's almost like the AI got locked up there, deer in the headlights. What do you mean there's no infantry, there's no cavalry? It's 900 archers. And finally, they kind of got unlocked here and charged. Now this is optimal for us, right? Because our ally is boring in and swarming these horse archers, which means our archer-heavy, skirmisher-heavy army can just sit on the ridge on a flank and just fire into the packed archer ranks. Talk about having the enemy in a bad spot here. If you're going to win a huge battle like this, this is how, right? To have that kind of a tactical setup. We're hardly even being targeted because the enemy is being surrounded so bad. There's no friendly fire, right? So our troops can fire in here with impunity. The only person that can kill troops is me, and I've already killed my 1 Imperial for this episode, right? So I'm satiated. Argyle would say victory is assured, right? We've got a long-term supporter who says that in order for us to win, we need to sacrifice at least one of our own troops. Mission accomplished. Victory is assured. Stretch some archers and horse archers here on the flank. Now the enemy's probably going to spawn right here, right? So we actually want troops essentially camping, like those fucks who play first-person shooters and just sit there right where you're coming into the game. They just take away all your fun and shoot you before you can move. Now we're getting Fiend Champs on the other side, but the enemy is so fucked here, it's hard to describe. But they're just capital F-U-C-T. I got companions, archers. Oh shit! They have archers set on the other side. So what do you do in a situation like this, right? You instantly pull all of your troops to this side of the ridge. You see that shit? 600-700? Instantly get all of the guys over to this side of the ridge. That way they're out of harm's way. Why are we doing that? Because again, we want the enemy, they almost feel like the enemy. We want our dipshit ally to be the crash test dummy. Let's let them go in. And then as they go in, we will take a savage opportunistic flank here again. Like I said, these episodes are not wholly worthless. Now I want a shield, so this guy volunteered. It's such a brutal game. Just kill the guy, take his shield, because I want to assess the situation here. Look at all these peasants running up. They don't have any chance of reaching their lines. These cavalry should be charging. Instead, they're sort of like cowards going the wrong way. Get in there, you wussy-ass cavalry. We're going to start setting up over here. I got an infantry line, probably skirmishers. We can set up archers and horse archers on this elevated spot, just like the previous thing. Right? Once you start doing tactics, much of it is the same concepts. Elevation, line of sight, distract your enemy. It's just Sun Tzu turned into Bannerlord. The enemy's penned up again because they don't kite. It's just... it's beautiful carnage. And I enjoy this maybe more than anybody else. It's just such chaos. There's hundreds of guys yelling and screaming, and the weapons clashing, archers getting killed everywhere. There's guys routing. More just popped in because of the reinforcement system. And I'm waiting for our infantry and cavalry here. That's our infantry. Back up, boys. I want our cavalry to push through there because then Hugh the Hammer is going to get his hammer time on. I won't do the theme song to fucking Sir Mix-a-Lot or whoever the fuck rapper Hammer Time, but that's what we're going to do here. We're going to blast some seasoned wolves into next week. They're kind of annoying because they have their shield and they like to use it. It's not going to matter though. Our archers have a savage flank. You can see it coming over my head, right? It's just hundreds of arrows scorching everything. We've got skirmishers here adding javelins to the mix, and our enemy is being roasted about as bad as you can be roasted here. Get the guys over the edge of the ridge there. This little infantry line, at some point or other, they'll be out of javelins, and we have another way to use these guys, right? We're going to take these guys and put them in a square. These fucking dipshit, look at this dipshit militia. You dipshit. So now we've got our infantry line, right? I don't want the enemy archers to shoot at us. What can you do, right? First, you can get up here, bob and weave, and just keep them occupied. They'll chase you and shit like that, and that's occupying 8, 10, 12 guys. But the other thing we can do, too, is we can take our infantry square and just shove it into the enemy's face. I don't actually want them to attack, but you put it right in their face, and they can't shoot anymore. There's a fucking dude with a shield there, and it aggroes their attention. What that does, of course, is our archers just shoot over those guys, and the enemy gets destroyed. You know, we're still going to try to do tactics for these episodes. We're still going to add basically an ounce of education for every pound of fun. Right? We're going to have some fun and clobber some forest bandits here. We'll take them to the side here now. They've sort of aggroed a bunch. And what this will do, of course, is leave all of the rest of their troops exposed. Save yourselves! As they get pounded and blasted. We can't stop them! He said, form a lot. Oh, he got fucking smashed with a hammer in the face. Oh shit, the enemy just popped up around me like fucking cheating mushrooms, you cheating fucking foresters. I'm sure there's some guys that just X out as soon as I start laughing. I wouldn't be doing this YouTube channel if I wasn't having fun, right? There are definitely some YouTube content creators. It really sounds like they're in pain recording some of their episodes. If you don't have passion for something, I don't care, man. Even if someone's told you being a YouTube content creator is the greatest thing. If you don't like your job, it doesn't matter what you do. If you're a porn star and you get sick of doggy style, quit being a porn star, right? Go do something decent. There's all kinds of jobs in the world, and most jobs suck. Let's just be honest. I'm a firefighter. I've got one of the best jobs, and you know what? There are days that suck being a firefighter too, right? You got to wake up at 3 in the morning to pick up some person who took a shit 2 weeks ago, can't help themselves up. There's all kinds of dreadful stuff that happens with our job. We get subjected to all kinds of stress and suicide and domestic violence. There is no perfect job out there, friends. Find one that you can tolerate, try to stick with it, and if you can't, find something else, right? The fortunate thing is in most societies, you have choice. Mix a little philosophy here, mix a little bit of porn star talk where we smash the enemy into next week. And I don't know if you guys saw it, the music started almost ominously with them too. We've got these forest bandits in hand. They are mauled, but I'm pretty sure thousands of looters just joined the party. It's a perfect timing for this soundtrack, where the horse archer Mongol song earlier was incongruous. This is perfect, because somehow there are thousands of looters pouring in, and here they come, right? It's just it looks like an angry fucking homeless encampment before people send hate mail. I mention it all the time. My wife and I are sympathetic. If this battle goes long enough, maybe I'll talk about a few of the little things I do. I do very little things for homeless, but I do them often, and I will talk about that. Let's run over the edge of this hill, though. We don't want to waste our arrows on 12 guys here. I'm stealing one of these guys' horse. Get back on your camel if you can, dude. They look like they're playing a game of magic chairs for those horses. You're getting surrounded by homeless people, very angry, belligerent homeless people, and you're playing this magical game of camels and horses. Whoever doesn't get a horse gets mauled by a looter. We're going to take a ridge here. We're going to form a V-shaped pattern with our archers, and then we have very few tanks, very few infantry, but what few we have, we're going to hold the center with our literally our 12 to 15 guys here. And you want to concentrate your fire here. In fact, we'll probably kite at least once more here. I better sit up for this shit. I start to sag in my chair. I want them coming over the ridge, and you really don't want to open fire and have your archers shooting until they're just packed. Right, until the enemy, until your guys can't miss, right? This is probably a little early, all these guys shooting right now. They're shooting at like 12 guys over the ridge, right? So take a few of these guys until the enemy gets a little thicker here and just have them hold fire. Move these divisions back a little bit. You know, you're not going to be, all right, I need a weapon. You're not going to be threatened by 30 looters. Where you get into trouble with looters is when there's 500. Help! He yelled help and got clobbered, shot in the neck. They're too strong. Get up here. I need these guys. This 8th Corps, these guys that played magical chairs, they're going to be the aforementioned bodyguard. Just follow me, stick near me in this looter maelstrom, and let the fun begin. Right? Clobbering looters. They're up here throwing rocks at us. And half of them rout, right? They get smashed. They get shot. They're getting enfilade fire from their left. Hugh the Hammer's a beast. Help! They're throwing their little petrified turds at me. Yeah, it's criminal. It's criminal that this is allowed. You just get to beat the shit out of the thousands of fucking looters. Help! All right, let's try to recover our poise here and talk about some good shit I do. My wife and I are compassionate people because you have to remember, most people, or at least a lot of people who are homeless, are not just lazy sacks of shit who don't want to work. Plenty of them are like people who just got unfortunate in life or experienced like a horrific layoff by some merciless, rapacious company. Some of them got into alcohol or whatever it might be. And let's not forget that a lot of people who get into drugs are people who experienced horrific events. Their wife was killed in a DUI. I would start drinking. I might drink until I was homeless, right? There's all kinds of reasons. Sometimes it's mental illness. And in our country, the healthcare for mental ill people is getting medieval. It's gotten really bad. And so we have basically a homeless crisis of mental ill people. And I'm not going to get political here, but the bottom line is that many of these people are just suffering, and they could use a little hand. Now, I don't give a lot of money, because most of the time we know you give a drug user an alcoholic money, and all you're doing is furthering the problem. What I do is I help them practically. I live in an area with a real winter. Pacific Northwest, we have rain and cold and snow. We get down to about minus 10 C. For you Americans or whatever Fahrenheit folks, that's like 12, 10, 12, 15 degrees, right? So what I do is I go to the Goodwill, a secondhand store, and I'll buy all kinds of nice, warm, brand new, almost always brand new, wool socks, wool hats, wool gloves, occasionally some jackets or something like that. And when I see a disheveled person clearly suffering in adverse conditions, I just give them some socks, give them some underwear. Stuff like that, right? Because nobody just wants to sit in the cold for fun. Now, again, I'm very unlikely to give them money so that they can just go drink themselves to death. But that little bit of love, giving somebody a warm fucking pair of gloves on a brutal cold day, you're spreading positivity into the universe, right? And you guys will be surprised how many smiles and great appreciation you get from doing stuff like that. So I've just got one of those plastic tubs in my car. with like 10 pair of gloves and 9 pair of socks and 6 warm hats, and I keep those little hand warmer things, right? We're gonna fill the Pacific Ocean full of plastic, but at least our hands will be warm. And we're gonna hold this ridge here. It's a bit of a reverse slope decline. This is going to be where we make our final stand here, right? We've got about 110, 130 troops, somewhere like that. We're getting run down here, but we're not about to just cower in the corner right now. You bitch-ass looting mob here. None of you fucks are getting warm gloves. You guys are getting a hammer to the face. Don't worry, you won't feel the cold once the hammer punches you a few times. It's beautiful. Now we charge. There's still some guys shooting, but it's mostly just a huge Fiend Champ and elite unit charge, and they are overrunning us. It feels like a fucking avalanche. There's my companion. Let's help him out. He just got dropped. We're overrun. Half of them are routing, and that's our best chance for victory in this battle here, right? Is to get the enemy to rout. I don't know how many looters joined. It might have been that army of 15,000. I don't think we can beat 15,000. Eventually, you just get fucking worn out. We're just going to continue to cycle kite right here. The reason you do this is you don't want to expose yourself to them throwing rocks up the hill. Make them come to you. This lets your archers work. It also concentrates them, right? That way, any arrow shot for sure hits a looter. I'm getting my ass kicked here. Getting surrounded. They're starting to defend well, and we're probably cooked here. But we're going to fight like a wolf here to the very end. Let's see if we can't make this force rout. And I'm going to sneak in a little positivity while we throttle these digital looters here. Just a random thing, right? And I'm not saying this shit so that you guys, I don't know, fucking write good things in the comments. Although that never hurts, right? You tell people they do good deeds. That validation helps. People like to feel good about the stuff they do in life. The reason I'm doing it is to give you young people some ideas, some little ways that you can help people that are misfortunate. Now, some of the people watching this might be misfortunate. There are homeless people who have an internet access, and maybe their only bit of joy each day is watching a little tactical enlightenment. I know that sounds silly, and maybe that's a bit naive, but I think that's the case, right? Some homeless people have either a free or very, very cheap phone, and that's the only joy in life they have, right? I know that's sort of sad, and maybe it's a little bit odd, but that's the case. At least with some people. Alright, so here's just another thing I did recently. I went to one of our grocery stores. I'm in line. You know, I've got all the money I need. I'm buying whatever I want. I got a nice bagel. I got a little energy drink, feeling good. And there was this couple. They couldn't have been more than like 22, 25 or something like that. A gallon a guy, and they had a kid that absolutely looked like me when I was 5. Right? Looks just like the family photos I have. This little cute toddler with bleach blonde hair and a bowl cut. And I overheard them talking, and I was almost certain that it wasn't for my benefit, their discussion. They were clearly suffering, and the guy said, that card is maxed, right? And you know what that means. It means that credit card, whatever it is, doesn't have any more money available. You can't keep using it. And she said, I didn't bring any money. The kid was complaining. He wasn't crying, but he was clearly suffering. And they had maybe $80 worth of groceries or something like that. Actually, it was $78, I remember, to this day. And they asked the cashier lady that was helping them there, and they said, we got to go home. We don't have any money. We can't buy this stuff. Now, I think they were indicating they were going to come back as we make a final charge here. I want to finish this story here, and you get the idea of what we're doing here. You don't need to hear me say, I'm swinging the hammer. I'm going to swing it again. We're going to job. We're going to juke and dive and juke and dive. We're smashing looters here for your fun, and we're going to sneak in a little positivity with this episode as we say, die, you bastard. So it was clear they couldn't afford it. They were having a bad experience. They didn't exactly look like they were wearing Versace, if you know what I mean. They were probably way too young to have a kid. Maybe they were pregnant at 18. Not advisable. If you're pregnant at 18, I feel for you. We may someday even do charity with the channel, right? Direct charity, but we shall see. Anyways, I digress. So they left the store. They said they'd be right back. The lady helping them at the self-check said, well, we'll leave the groceries here till you come back. And I just reached over and held my card in front of her, and she's like, if you want to do that, I won't stop you. And I did. Just 78 bucks and made a nice little pleasing noise that went bleep as the little chip registered. And I said, when they come back, just tell them to pay it forward. It's one of those things, joy, those kind of acts generally, not always, but generally are contagious. People experience that and it resonates in their head, right? There's a saying from Gladiator, I love, what we do in life echoes in eternity. And I think that's real. I think that's a great line. Of course, he's talking about glory and battle and stuff like that. But the other kinds of deeds that we do in life echo into eternity. If you're stealing money or something like that, or doing horrific shit, cheating on women, that shit echoes into eternity. But so also does your good acts, right? So choose to be a force for good. Don't join Darth Vader, right? Be a force for good. Help people out when you can. Be a good citizen, and that will resonate out into the world forever. If you get killed the next day, those positive deeds that you've left will echo out into the world. And I think that's the best kind of legacy that us as human beings, as civilized, thoughtful, compassionate people can do. It made me feel great. I went out to the parking lot and I saw her putting her kid in her car. They actually had a nice car, so maybe they weren't that bad off. Doesn't really matter. I went up to her and I said, hey, the cashier said you left your car at the register. Well, just to make sure they didn't have to go home and come back. And as I was leaving the parking lot, I didn't want to have a discussion, of course. I didn't even want to confront them or receive like a thank you. All I saw was her crying and very brief, just the very briefest raise of her hand in a wave thank you. And it made my day, right? It probably made their week or whatever. Or I don't know, maybe they bought more crack or something like that. We can't assume that people are always going to take those deeds. And maybe she beat her kid and roasted him in the microwave. I don't know. But my general belief in the world is that good deeds like that are contagious. Even though Hugh the Hammer is dead, his legacy of throttling poor peasants over the head is going to resonate into Calradia as angry looters everywhere sack and kill other people out of rage that the fact that Hugh the Hammer pounded 700 of them in this titanic battle. And we come full circle here, right? We're going to finish our last stand here against, for sure, a never-ending horde of looters. I mean, look at that shit. It's awesome. We're down to like 10 guys trying to hold back the storm. It ain't going to work. Some of our units actually look like they're routing, although I just think they're chasing routing units. But those are the kind of things that I told my wife. That's part of the reason I love having a YouTube channel. Yeah, it's fun. I make a little bit of money. I get to play Bannerlord. Those adulation guys are like, you're fucking the GOAT of Bannerlord. And I'm like, all right, I appreciate it, man, but there are better players. But I love being able to be an influencer for good, right? We're gonna vituperate. We're gonna talk shit about these stupid fuck looters that are attacking us. But we're also hopefully gonna spread some good out there that echoes into eternity. As they poke me with their pitchfork. I want to see what this looks like here, right? So we're going to run around the corner. Is this... I think it probably is 2,000 looters that are chasing me. And the reason I say that is we have the battle size mod loaded. It allows up to, I think it's 2,040 units on the battlefield at the same time. And since we don't have any allies left, it'll be only looters on the battlefield. So I think that's what we're looking at here. Just an avalanche of looters. And this guy is quite the beast character. This is one of Hugh the Hammer's cousins or something like that. He's got good armor. He's killing looters as they chase him downhill. And it feels like an avalanche. I'm not moving backwards. They're pushing me downhill. There's so fucking many of them. Alright, friends, we failed with this challenge here, but that shit doesn't matter. You were entertained. Hopefully some of the shit I said resonates a little bit with a few of you. And even if it resonates with a few of you and the other 3,000 or whatever, how many people that watch this don't give a fuck, that's okay. Because those 3 guys or 2 people or 5 people, 4 guys and 1 gal are going to go out there. You're going to be a force for good. And then I have done my job here. Now, you can do your job, of course, by sending me $100 million. Right? I'm a good person. I will give most of it away. If you don't feel like doing that, you can hit that like button at the end of this episode. Right? We are fighting to the last man here, and we are doing this for entertainment and to be a force of good here. Our YouTube channel's been a blast to run for the last year and a half. You guys have been amazingly supportive. I appreciate that. There may be charitable elements in the future, and that's the kind of thing to bring up in the comments. If you guys are are interested on some level. I understand a lot of you guys, you know, you're 2 steps away from being the couple that needs help in the grocery store. Like I said, there might be homeless people that watch this. So I'm not asking every single one of you to empty your little wallet, but at some point or other, we may do some charitable elements, probably in the forms of things like GoFundMe, or who knows, right? I'm a big supporter of the ASPCA because I find all animals to be innocent, and I'm a very big supporter of animals and animal shelters, right? Those dogs that are just cruelly discarded by their owners, I'm all about helping them somehow, some way. So you guys have probably had enough philosophy for 3 or 4 weeks here. We're going to wrap this episode up as we killed 6,700 in this battle here. And this really was a sequence of battles. Again, I'm going to break these episodes into 2 parts. That was a lot of fun. Nice little adrenaline rush. Doesn't mean a damn thing, but neither does Bannerlord. That campaign you just completed where you conquered the whole map doesn't mean shit. Just entertained you. But hopefully this YouTube channel means something, right? Hopefully we're spreading a little bit of good here. We're teaching you how to get better at Bannerlord. If you have success at Bannerlord, that'll probably make you a more positive person. And who knows, maybe you're out there being a force for good. Enough preaching for this episode here. We're going to get toted off by looters, I think. I think that's how it works, right? We'll capture the Southern Empire. Yeah, no, it'll be by looters. We'll see what this looks like, and then we'll put on our finishing spiel here. I want to see how many looters there are here. That's part of the reason I'm curious. And this is not normal. This load time, I think, is because there's so many. The game engine is really struggling. The game was never designed to have these kind of numbers. It looks hilarious when you see 30,000 looters. The numbers are kind of crammed together, like the system is not quite sure what to do about it. It's only 800? Oh no, there's 12,000. So it looks like almost 15,000 looters were still there. It wasn't that close. And you see these other armies. Now look at the lower left. That's fucking hilarious. Looters are just causing carnage in this little side series, and I think it's great. It's basically like the land is being taken over by a violent looter revolution. Veta was taken prisoner by forest bandits. Munzer was killed in battle. These looters are out there killing nobles. Look, they had to vote for a new king of Britannia because their dude got killed by looters. Other people are getting captured. Eowyn died in battle. Eowyn! No, not Eowyn. And it's just beautiful carnage. Taken prisoner by looters, taken prisoner by mountain bandits. I think it's great. And maybe you just think I'm a fucking crazy old guy laughing at stupid shit. So be it. Don't hit that like button. But if you watched to this point, I imagine you liked this episode. You probably want to see an episode more or 2. Probably not going to do several of these, but we'll see. We'll see what you guys think. So please hit that like button on the way out. I've rambled on way too long with this episode. I got to get back to work. In fact, I am filming these at work. I've been lucky to not have a call. And I will, we'll wrap this shit up. I appreciate you fellas, and I will see you friends next time.